Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Clear.
Great, great. Hi. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday morning. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about group discussion best practices, right? Yeah, this is the agenda that we are going to cover. Introduction on group discussion. How do you focus on? How do you start? How do you communicate your points effectively? How to show leadership skills? And how to build on others' points, consistency of participation, and some other things, right? If it's a fish market, what do you do? If it's an online GD, what do you do, right? Before we start, a little bit about myself and GoCrackIt, which is organizing. So I am Suhruta Kulkarni. I am the co-founder of GoCrackIt. I am an IIM Ahmedabad alumni. So I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad in 2016. Post that, I have worked in investment banking and strategy. So basically, finance and strategy have been my domain area, and started GoCrackIt in 2018. GoCrackIt is a career mentoring platform. So we have thousand careers, 1,000 different mentors who are again alumni of different B schools and working in companies and roles which are aspirational: product management, consulting, finance, marketing. These are the careers that these mentors are, and they come from different companies like Amazon, Google, Goldman Sachs. These are where our mentors come from, right? So we have been working on this since almost past 7 8 years, and we count most of the tier one B schools as our customers, including IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode, SPJM are amongst the other B schools as well, right? That is what we do at GoCrackIt. Great. So let's start with today's session. So, what is a group discussion? Group discussion is a formal professional setup. So, who conducts group discussions? Either at the admission time, MBA institutions typically could conduct group discussions, or your recruiters would be conducting group discussions for your placements, right? So it is all the time, it is always a formal setting, not casual, it's a professional setting, right? Why do they do a group discussion, right? Why group discussion? How does this process help? So what they are looking at, both the school admission as well as recruiters, they are looking at your ability to work and contribute towards a team. So because once you get a job, when you're in an organization, you alone can't work on any specific thing, right? You have to go along with the team. You have to listen to what others are saying, you have to take the inputs and work towards the given objective. So they want to test this ability, and hence group discussion is a simulation which enables them to discuss. With this, obviously, they want to take your communication skills. Now, communication is not just your verbal communication, right? It is also about listening, right? How do you listen? Do you listen? Do you take notes? What do you do? Your leadership skills. Are you able to take the team together? They also use this when they have to shortlist candidates when there is a large pool. So typically, let's say Amazon puts out a job, and then there are 10,000 different applications, right? So while they do an internal screening, Amazon does not do a GD typically for hiring, but some of the marketing companies, general management companies, they'll say, okay, let's do a group discussion for an elimination purpose, right? Even when they come to campus and if there is a batch of 400, 500 students, they would do this as an elimination process also. It's easier for them, right? So remember, it's a discussion and not a debate, right? You don't need to fight with each other during the group discussion. More than how much you speak, what you speak is very important. Content is the king for group discussion, right? So you need to prepare on content. Your GD role should be a contributor. Remember, they are evaluating you. How would you work in a corporate setting, right? And not a dominator. Okay. Listening is as important as speaking. As I said, you need to take your team together. Always stick to the objective of the topic. Okay, now this is very important. Now, what happens when you get into a group discussion? People tend to go around the same point in circles. Somebody likes a point and they just keep discussing that same point over and over again. With this, you might go away from the topic at hand. So, for example, the topic US attack on Venezuela, impact on Indian economy, for example, right? It's a recent topic, current affairs topic. Then somebody might just, want to vent out on, what Trump is doing, has been doing, right? And the entire group just keeps doing. You lose the objective. What is the objective? Objective is what is going to be the impact on Indian economy. Is there going to be an impact? Is there not going to be impact? What's the that is what you need to discuss. Not, I mean, yes, to back it, you can talk about, Trump's policies and all that, but the objective is the impact on Indian economy, right? So you just can't keep going on and on about Trump or Venezuela, right? Or the dictator or whatever, the president over there, right? Use your body language. Now that I'm speaking with you, because it's an online session, you can see part of me, right? Now, because of this, what I'm doing is I am using gestures. I am using voice modulation, right? Because so that you understand what important point that I'm making and what is okay, everybody knows it, but I need to cover it, right? That is another point. Eye contact, obviously, I'm seeing in the camera so that you can see that I'm speaking with you, and content should always be great content, right? With signals that you want to promote collaboration within the group and take the objective forward, right? So this is very important, right? It's not just about yourself, it's about the group that you should keep in mind. Now, what do recruiters evaluate? Now, we have done hundreds of such sessions. And as I said, our knowledge comes from the mentors whom we have. All these mentors recruit from campuses, or they recruit in their own companies for their teams, for their companies, right? So hence, from these mentors, we know what they look at when they do a GD, either for an application purpose or for a campus application purpose. Even in B school admissions, typically these are the points that the faculty would look at. Quality of content, as I said first, communication skills, including your verbal and body language, leadership skills, uh, two ways, right? Objective, what is the topic objective? Second, if somebody in the team is not speaking, trying to speak, and you give a chance to somebody, or you acknowledge somebody's point, that shows leadership skills. Now you have to be very careful when you display all of this in the group discussion, because not every time it works, sometimes it backfires also. Building on others' points. This is again a very important skill set, because they want to see, would you grow up into a team manager, team leader, where you can take others' inputs, build upon it, right? That is where this helps in the simulation. And consistency of participation. Typically, group discussion would be a 10 to 12 minute discussion. You have to speak at least 3 to 4 times in that discussion. Now, when I say 3 to 4 times, it is not just a one word, two-word entry. Yes, yes, I agree. No, no, that is not true. No, this is not an entry. Your entry in the group discussion is when you make a full-fledged valid point end to end. That is an entry in the group discussion, right? And then when you do that 3 to 4 times, that is consistency of participation. Now, your campus placement GDs are different from admission GDs, and majorly it is from a content perspective, right? At a admission GD in a B school, the expectation of content is what you would know before your MBA or BBA or whatever selection process that you are in. But the moment you are in the recruitment process, the expectation is also to use what you have learned in your course. If you are in your MBA and doing GD for a recruitment drive, you have to display what you have learned in the MBA program. If you are in BBA, BCom, undergraduation, you have to display what you have learned over there. How do you display that? By linking your learnings to the topic being discussed. We will look at examples. Okay. You have to definitely speak. Do not be aggressive or rude in a group discussion. But do not be submissive also, right? It's not that if somebody says something to you, You need to be submissive. No. Have a balance, right? Be assertive in terms of what you're speaking, right? Now let's look at a GD from a content perspective. You may now this typically happens in current affairs GD topics, right? You may know a topic very well, you may not know a topic at all, right? So, for example, let's say that I am not an IPL follower. I do not follow cricket, neither do I like cricket. For example, not that I don't like it. If I'm not following it and the topic is on IPL, is it really promoting cricket? For example, that's the topic. Now, I'm a person who doesn't follow cricket, neither follows IPL. I have no clue, right, what IPL is about. That is when I am on low content, familiarity of the topic very low. Vis-a-vis, let's say I have a topic which is, uh, let's say, on education system in India, right? Where because I've prepared, I've researched, analyzed, I know a lot of things about the Indian education system. High content. That means I have got very good content on that. Now, given the two situations, low content, high content, how do you ensure you still crack the group discussion? Let's look at what you should do before starting the GD, during the GD, and at the conclusion. Okay. So now, before starting the GD, in case you do not know the topic, try to use some frameworks. Now, when I say frameworks, they are not very fancy jargons or anything. It could be simple pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, external and internal, right? Just thinking of something from different perspectives, different angles is a framework, right? So, for example, if I need to lose my weight, I can lose my weight by reducing the calories, by increasing exercise. Simple, two things. Now I break it down further. If I have to reduce the calorie intake, what should I do? If I have to increase exercise, what should I do? I can keep on breaking it further. It's a framework, right? So it's nothing fancy, but works which are already you might be aware of, right? Which could be PESTEL, which could be Porter's five forces, it could be four P's of marketing. So these are the frameworks that you could use, or you could think about how it is affecting me, my family, somebody whom I know. For example, if the topic is on healthcare and you have heard about how your grandparents had to deal with some healthcare situation, for example, definitely bring that example to the group discussion. Draw inferences from what you had seen at that point of time, what you have heard at that point of time. Draw inferences. This is your content. So it could be perfectly fine if you're using personal examples in the group discussion. I can say, for example, IPL topic. I would say that you know uh, IPL as a no. See, I don't know about cricket. I don't know about IPL, but I know that in India, cricket is the largest. I mean, whatever economy sport, right? So I could draw an inference that because there is IPL, it is enabling the sport to become better, at least in terms of a funding perspective. Hence, I might say that we also need IPL kind of a format for kabaddi, kho and other games. Right? A simple point that I can make. Somebody will build upon it that we already have something for kabaddi, we already have this that. Right? So you can draw inferences, you can use personal examples, you can try to use these frameworks, and this is what you do before starting the group discussion. You may not know the content at all, still you can have enough content. Now, during the GD, now because you are low on content, preferably do not start the group discussion. Because what happens when you do not know the content, the topic, sometimes it might happen that you've misunderstood the topic also, right? So if you're not sure, not clear, do not start the GD in that case. Okay. What you do is wait for three or four people to speak and then you jump in into the group discussion. At this point, you can keep making notes, right? You can refer to somebody who has spoken earlier and say that we have covered these 3 points. We still need to cover these 4 points. Now, you don't know the topic. You are not even bringing all this content. You are just doing a leadership act. We're just saying that we have already covered this much. Now let us cover this. But you are telling the recruiter who is observing that I am keeping a tab on where the discussion is going. I'm ensuring that the discussion is achieving its objective. Okay. So this is a trick that you can do both in low content and high content. Not a problem with that. You can do that. Now build upon what others have said. What additional content can you do? If somebody has talked about, how IPL auctions have, let's say, limited the number of players, who can get, or have increased the number of players. Give an example, similar example where it has worked, where it has not worked, right? So you can give examples, you can talk about stories, which is where then your content also becomes rich. Definitely try to conclude the group discussion, because you may not have spoken as many times, but you have been making notes, and try to conclude. Now, when I say conclusion, it is not typically a conclusion, because in 10 minutes you really can't conclude anything, but it is a summarization of what you have discussed. Now, here in the conclusion, do not add anything, right? Just summarize what has been discussed. So, for example, right, the topic is USA is going to be a USD 30 trillion economy by 2030. I have no idea about US economy. I have no idea about what is the current size of the US economy right now. What I can do, I can think about what US economy impacts. How does it impact, let's say, Indian economy? I might have some friends who are working in the IT sector on US projects. Their jobs are going to get affected, because if there is a growth, they are going to get more jobs, more projects, better promotions, better salaries, right? If there are companies where you worked which you used to export or import to US, you can talk about that. So this way you can jot down a lot of points, even though you may not know about the number, right, of the size of the economy. You can also think through on what are the typical drivers for the economy. So for example, Indian economy, services sector drives the Indian economy. Now one more thing which you need to remember, so we are on 24th January. I don't know what's the budget date, but typically budget date is also somewhere close by, right? February first week, somewhere budget will be there. Be prepared on what has been discussed or what were the requirements in the budget as well. And not just that there are tax slabs, tax cuts and all that. No, not just from an individual perspective, but overall from a country perspective, right? What is the impact of budget, right? B schools could be a topic that they ask, right? Because this is where the season of B school GDs might be happening, right? And then again during GD, observe, make notes, add with examples, post GD, try to conclude. So this is what you do when you are low on content. When you're high on content, you know a lot of things, obviously jot down everything. During GD, start the discussion, contribute regularly. Now again, do not overdo it. You should not take away all the 10 minutes, right? You should allow others to speak as well. Here is where you can go and lead the GD. You can show your leadership skills. Conclusion you may or may not want to do, because you have already spoken enough number of times, right? So when you're high on content, lead the GD, right? That is what you should do. Start the GD, structure the GD, lead the GD. What do I mean by structure the GD? So any GD topic, when somebody starts it, they have to structure it. What is structuring? We will see in a few minutes. What are the different types of group discussion topics? So typically, what we call as current affairs could be about business, economy, case studies, or abstract topics, right? So current affairs topic, what is happening around you, right? Your business, economics, political situations. These are the kind of topics. Case is when they give you a problem statement. Estimate the number of electric vehicles in the Indian market. Now the objective is to estimate it. Approach, how will you do the approach? Will you start from the number of people in India, hence number of vehicles and etc., etc., or will you start from that, okay, let's look at the income levels and then count the number of vehicles? So that's an approach. It's neither a right or wrong approach. They're just looking at your logical way of thinking. Then doing the analysis and recommending. Typically, they will ask estimate the number of EV and then draw up a marketing strategy, right, or an operation strategy. And how do you? What are your recommendations? That is how you solve a case study in a group discussion. So in a case study, typically they will have qualitative or quantitative data. Definitely analyze that, right? Break it down, use it in your discussion also. Abstract GD, a topic like gray dot. Okay, now it could mean anything in the world. Okay, now this is totally an abstract GD. It is majorly used to check your creativity. Can you think out of the box? Right? Can you go beyond what your scope is? Because why do they ask these kind of topics? See, in organizations as well, right? Technology is changing. AI has come in now. Nobody knows how to use AI, what to do with AI. How do you actually apply it to the business case, right? Just creating images is not what AI is doing, right? Or corporates are worried about, right? Now, if there is a person who can actually think out of the box, can think through, break down problems, then likely that they will be able to solve these kind of changing problems. So both case study and abstract, and also sometimes it is just creative expression and communications, right? So how to start a GD? What we're discussing, provide as much content as possible during the beginning itself. Now what happens? Sometimes people write down a lot of points, some important points, maybe some amazing facts that they know or something. They won't say in the starting. They'll say that I will come back later and use that. But highly likely that somebody else would already have spoken about that. You lose your opportunity, right? So do not wait. Front load your good points, your good content. Structure. Typically try to give a structure to the group discussion that you're doing. For example, the USD 30 trillion economy. Okay. Today, we are going to analyze whether US economy would reach USD 30 trillion by 2030. For this, we need to look at five different factors. These factors are, and when you list down these five different factors, that is the structure for group discussion. Or it could be that let us look at it from political, economic situation or legal, whatever aspects. Now, again, not all might be applicable, right? Legal, you may not want to look at, right? Or you could say, I mean, so it could be any structure that you give to the topic. Okay. So you have to give both structure and great content at the beginning of the GD. That's a very good start. And when you start a GD very well, you do get a lot of brownie points for the start of the GD. Shows leadership skills. So typically, when you communicate, right, this is how, I mean, you can communicate using a T structure. As we explore the Make in India initiative, it is important to consider its broad impact across various sectors such as manufacturing, technology, defense, employment generation. This initiative's position India as blah blah blah. So this is a T structure. You're first giving a broad overview. Then you say that, then you go deep into one of each. Okay, this one. Automotive industry, what we are going to talk about, defense, manufacturing, electronics, and semiconductor. Now, this kind of communication with what we say, right? Structured thinking, structured communication should be used not only in group discussions but also for your interviews as well as resumes. Okay. But this is how you would communicate verbally in the group discussion. What are the ways to show your leadership skills in a group discussion? Initiating the GD, as I said, if you start, definitely shows leadership. Encourage participation. Staying calm and composed. What happens is a lot of things get worked up, get hassled because either they get nervous, they just want to kind of, get away with the GD. But if you are calm and composed, because that is what leaders have to do day in, day out, you'll be thrown n number of problems at you. But are you calm, composed, and able to look at the objective and work professionally? That is a very important leadership skill. Structuring, we have already discussed, providing logical and clear insights. Also, if the some two of the team members, let's say, start fighting, are you able to manage the conflicts? Are you able to manage time? Now, when I say time management, do not keep looking at your watch. Oh, it's already 9 minutes. Now I have to start conclusion. No. See, recruiters are there. I mean, evaluators are there. If they like a topic, the discussion, the way it is going on, they might increase time as well. It is not essential that 10 minutes means specifically only 10 minutes, right? Do not foreclose a GD prematurely, right? Just because they have told you this much time. Okay. How do you build on others' points? Acknowledge the previous speaker's point, build upon it with additional information or insight, provide a different angle, clarification. You could also take 2 points, join it together. Sheetal spoke about impact of rains on agriculture. XYZ spoke about how we can use data. We can also use data and data analytics to forecast rains and which can help the farmers better. So you're connecting two ideas together, bringing something new which is relevant to the topic at hand. Okay, that is what you can do. How to enter a GD? Definitely enter first. If you don't know the topic, then do not enter first. Let 3-4 people speak. Now a lot of people are speaking. You are not getting an opportunity to speak. What you can do? Some name dropping. Virat Kohli had done so and so in IPL. The moment you drop names, people will listen because that is how we are tuned to listen. Or you can give some example or story. People like, right, example stories. Or if you have a same background during our our professor so and so mentioned this, you can say that as well. You can increase your voice a little bit and then enter the GD. So there are multiple ways to enter a GD. Then some people ask how to cut someone's points. Don't do that. That is not professional, right? You can say that I have a different point of view. You can say that, yes, I agree with this, but we have to actually look at this perspective as well, right? So do not cut point. Do not say you're wrong. No, right and wrong is very relative. It changes with geography, it changes with time, it changes with context, right? So don't, get into that trap. There are some good, examples of GDs, not good GDs, right? These are examples of what to do, what not to do in a GD. You can have a look at that. Consistency, as I said, typically three is what you should look at. If there is a fish market GD, right? Nobody is allowing you to speak, nothing is happening, etc. Then uh, stay calm. That is first and foremost. The recruiters are still looking at you, even if it is a fish market GD. How do you act? How do you behave in this kind of a situation? You're still being evaluated, right? Be assertive, not aggressive. You can try to bring order, saying that let's take, speak one by one. You can do that. You can say that, okay, these people are already spoken. Can these people speak? You can do all these things, right? Try to bring a structure, act as a moderator, show non-verbal cues, right, to signal. Okay, yeah. Now, if there is an online group discussion happening, then you have to be more careful because it's not just about you who have the challenge of not showing your entire body language, of not being pure, clearly audible, visible because of technology issues, but even the evaluator is looking at 10 different little boxes on the screen, don't know who is speaking what and what is happening because the moment somebody starts speaking it goes away, the boxes might change also, shift also. So the evaluator also it's very difficult, right, to evaluate online GDs. So hence more essential to be clearer in your communication. As I said, use your hand movements and body language to showcase that you're speaking, right, in an online GD. What we are also going to share is some resources. Let me share that. So for example, you can go to GoCrackIt.com resources. Okay. And here we have GD preparation. So we have abstract topic GD, abstract topics, current affairs topics. Then we also have, so this is what we covered today. Then we have case study topics with discussion pointers. So for example, let's take an example. Okay. Now here, why do recruiters look and what you should do, everything is there. Let's take one topic. Okay. So the topic is, I hope you can see my screen. Okay. The topic is a popular Indian quick service restaurant chain has seen a steady decline in dine-in customers across its urban outlets. However, delivery orders are growing consistently. As a strategy team, discuss how the company should respond to this shift in the consumer behavior. So it's a quick service restaurant. Dine-in customers are decreasing, delivery orders are increasing. You are now the strategy team. Now remember, you are not strategy teams means you have to think long term, right? So you have to bring in that hat for thinking long term. How should the company respond to the shift in consumer behavior? Anything that you would like to contribute? What should the company do? If you were in that group discussion, just whatever your thought process is, you can unmute and speak about that. Yeah, anybody can go ahead, unmute and speak. Would anybody like to speak about this topic?
Yeah, hi, ma'am.
Yes, Dilip.
Yeah, my name is Dilip, ma'am. Currently, I'm pursuing my third year bachelor's. So my question is that how to be calm and positive, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So this, I mean, it comes with a lot of practice, right? In terms of, I mean, do a lot of GDs, see which are the triggers, in which you tend not to be calm, right? In the GD. Typically, if you go well prepared, right, with a good content, and you have already done a lot of practice for GDs, then becomes easier because you know that you have done this earlier. You know that you will be able to do it today as well. That gives you calm and confidence during the GD, right? And with that, you will have good content. So, preparation is very important. Start with content preparation, start with practice. Definitely, you should read newspapers, right? So, even though everything is there online, I still continue to read newspapers, right? uh, and again, not any newspapers, typically read business newspapers. Follow the channels also. I mean, your news channels are also good to follow. But if you keep scrolling for news on your mobile, now what happens is that mobile knows what you like looking at and it shows only those kind of news. So you will get a very biased worldview, right? So yeah, so to answer your question, Dilip, uh, prepare on the content, practice a lot, and with that you have confidence, clarity, and hence your communication will also become good in the GD. Okay, any other
Yes, thank you.
questions? Yes, Dilip. Yeah, okay. Any other questions? Anything that one wants to share, observe, anything? Any questions? So what we will do is I will share this resource link, uh, and you can go through that. There are almost 15-20 topics under each header. You can use that for your preparation. Okay. Okay, great then. Thank you so much, everyone. And we keep doing these sessions. Feel free to join in these sessions so that you can learn better every day and have happy and successful careers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.